like a month later, P1 reached out to us again saying that like, oh, can we actually bring back the P1 again? The reason why we struggle because uh that time the Fortnite game just came out, and after that, like the owner Mike Michael took us to Nobu Malibu, and then we spent I think $20,000 worth of food or something like that. Back then, in my head, I'm like, nah, we should spend more money and then bring like a superstar player. I didn't make sense, but that was stupid ideas.
Just to clarify, there are two parts to this interview. The first part is pre Dignitas. This is where he talks a lot about how he got into esports, what his first few jobs were like, going out to dinners that went from not very fancy to him cooking the dinners to going out and with like his company and getting like a $20,000 dinner, which is like insane to me. And then the second part is where we start talking about Dignitas. I know a lot of people are probably coming because they want to hear about Dignitas, and obviously he talks about like going through the cycles where no matter what you try to fix, things end up exactly where they started. All that will be in part two. There will be timestamps.
Yeah. So I used to play a lot of sports, especially football, and then at that time I was kind of looking for a part-time job. I got to hire one of the Boba Plus PC Cafe. The owner were Korean. But anyway, they want to start a League of Legends team. That's kind of how I started, become like a manager that knows about the League of Legends. But I started with the Team Green Forest Cafe. I don't know if people knows, but that's a way back in like Challengers team. And after that, they create TDK. Obviously, the 5 Korean players. Obviously, with the one support player, Smoothie. But I don't know if you guys remember him, but that's kind of how I started. But obviously, we fell with the team, and then obviously after that, um, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do because either I joined the army, going back to the college, because that's the only option that I had because I didn't get paid that time. I was just kind of working, kind of learn about League of Legends. But thankfully, that Team MBS purchased team. They offer myself and then some of the players, and that's kind of how I start my growth as a path, kind of going up. And after MBS, got a job at the Clutch Gaming. After Clutch Gaming, Dignitas, obviously got the Clutch Gaming spot, and then yeah, and then starting from 2014 till 2025, it's been 11 years journey. Yeah.
That's great. I didn't even know that the way TDK started was like a Korean mom and dad that owned a boba shop. They started like a team that ended
No,
up becoming TDK.
they're like brothers. They're like brothers. They're always passionate about like create one of the esports team, and then back in the day, I don't know if you guys remember LMQ, all Chinese
Yeah.
players. Back then, they didn't really have the rules, for the import rules. But obviously, after that LMQ, they realized, oh shit, like bringing all the 5 players from the different region doesn't make any sense, because this is any region, But so that time we actually brought 5 Korean players, but after that they Riot changed the rules, Okay, we only allow 2 players, So that time we had a Seraph. Obviously, he was previously played for the CLG at that time. I don't know if you guys know him, but that's why we had a Seraph, and we had a Kaz, and then we had a lot of drama there, and then we had to get an Alex H back then, just a bunch of stuff, and then it was fun. Also, like we have to like bring the people from the Korea, like so it was fun experience. That's kind of how I like started my esports career as a League of Legends, especially. So yeah, it's been it's been like I'm telling you a long story short, but it's been pretty good journey for myself. Yeah, it's 11 years. Just a lot of players that I work with. Obviously, there's tons of stories and stuff like that. So it was fun.
Yeah, so maybe tell me a little bit about like your beginning role. Like what were you doing on that specific team? Because back in the day it was very more chaotic. VC hadn't come in, there
Yeah.
wasn't as much structure. So what were you doing on TDK?
So back then, obviously, I think the only team like CNI, CLG, TSM, for example. I mean, I think that like those 3 teams obviously had a really solid sponsorship, stuff like that.
Mm.
Everybody knows. I mean, I remember back in the days, we all the teams they used to live so far away from the riot, and then they used to like provide like a shuttle bus for each teams and stuff. We used to live in the Diamond Bar, like which is hour and 30 minutes away, and then
Wow.
yeah, it was a crazy. But pretty much I start from the bottom, which is like I didn't even have my own room, no PC, anything like that. I was staying in the living room, staying on the couch, which is fine with me at that time because I really liked working with the players. And then I realized that, oh my God, this is pretty cool working as a professional, gaming team, stuff like that. I did cleaning, picking up the food, like pretty much did everything for the players. I remember there's no income for myself, right? So sometimes the player wants to get like something to drink, like special boba. Like I'll go to the store, they give you like a stamp card or something, like a
Mm.
10, if you buy 10 boba, you get one free. So I collect the money, and they will actually give me extra money, so I can keep the change and stuff like that. That's kind of how I did
Oh
it, but
wow.
everybody knows it, like So that yeah, pretty much I start from the bottom because everybody knows there's no income for me, right? So
Mm.
I do all the dishes. Um, After we coming back from the game, we lost so many games, back then, but like
I think you guys won
the
one
back.
game, right? Or two games in
I did
total?
2, 3 games. It was really
Damn.
bad. We had also like a visa issue with the players too. Yeah, pretty much like I've been always been on team that like kind of underdog, so
Mm.
which is fine. But yeah, but I'll always kind of like blame myself. I'll one day will hold a trophy, but yeah, it didn't happen. So it was kind of sucks. Really sad, but it is what it is. There's no regret, but it was fun.
Then you joined Team Envy. Like that team was like
Yeah,
Envy was a big org. Like we expected good
yeah.
things from them. Like how was it working? Like the big difference
So
between TDK and I'm assuming Envy.
yeah, obviously MB was more structured. They've been doing so well with the esports, right? With all the like shooting games and stuff like that. I mean, shout out to Hastro, the owner of the MVS. They got me, and then some of the players. Like we need you guys. And then ever since when I joined the MVS, my um path as an esports career has been going up at the time because that's the time I was getting paid salary. I remember my first salary, like when I got it, like I was using like really bad phone. As soon as I got paid, I remember I went to the Verizon store, purchased iPhone 5, 6 back then. It was such a cool experience, and I went to the sushi restaurant by myself eating, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool, getting paid. But anyways, Envious like was, they hired me, they put me in a lot of charge. Like basically, I'm taking care of all the players, translate obviously with the Korean players, and then yeah, and then I think during the Envious time, that was back in 2017. That's the time that when actually LCS brought so many Korean players like Rupert, Arrow, Lyra, um, like tons of players actually joined the LCS team back then, and then we're like, oh wow, LCS is actually getting crazy because now we're getting a bunch of players from the like also Piglet also came too, right?
Mhm.
Like we actually LCS actually getting big because like a lot of team actually bring like a lot of superstar from the Korea. Back in 2015, 2016 didn't have that. I mean, they only had like Impact, um, Piglet, Finish back then, but like now they like brought so many players. We also thought like, okay, we should bring the players. So that's why we got the Lyra and Ninja and the Proxy, like so many like Korean players too. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool. I think during the NBA time, that's like okay, that's like this is like esports. Talking with the player, agent, blah blah blah, and now having like a actual gaming house nearby the riot. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and on that team, you actually had a lot of really like important members. You had Apollo Hakuho, which was a duo. Like next year would
Yeah,
end up being TSM. You also had you worked with Dylan
Nisky,
Falco as a
Dylan
coach,
Farco, yeah,
right?
as a coach, yeah.
What was it like working with him before he became, like this G2 mastermind that's like making it to
So
headquarters?
So basically, Dylan, I think Dylan came after the modals that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a roster with the Korean player Seraph. We had a fuck, I don't know what I was jungle in the name,
It
but
was Lyra,
I think
right? It
we
was
had a
Seraph, Lyra,
no, oh Leah too.
Venus.
Yeah, I think before it was a proxy, but that was like a before. But Dylan had a pretty rough time with the roster because I mean, he's trying his best, but then the Korean player didn't listen to him. So he had a massive stress. So every break, Dylan always comes up to me like, "Let's go for a walk," because that's like a walking path from the house. Like to there's a local pizza shop there. He will go there and get a two slice and talk about like talking to me about like how stressed he was and blah blah blah. But for me, I think he tried his best. I mean, he's a great coach. And then after that, obviously, he went to the LEC. Obviously, he's been doing great after that. But yeah, I mean, it was fun year. There's so many people actually came from the MBS, and then yeah. I mean, I like working with Dylan FICO, and then sometimes I talk to him, and then it's like shit, like he remembers everything, all the MBS. But yeah.
What about Lyra? Because you'd end up working with Lyra this year again after like
Yes.
8 or 9 years. But any funny stories about
Yes.
Lyra?
So, this obviously, like I said, Team NBA had a lot of Korean players, but after that, we actually, like I said, like 2017, people actually spent a lot of money on the Korean players, right? That's the time that we required the layup because that time when we had a Korean coach, he was saying that like we need someone that smart player, like which means knows about the games, knows about the macro, how to control the games. So we got the layer. That's the guy that we actually needed from the coaches' ideas. So we got the layer. Leah came telling everyone this is what he needs to do. We don't need to fight. We don't need to like get a kills to win the game. We can actually win the game with just such a clean macro. That's the kind of Leah had a mindset, and then telling everyone the what we need to do. And then there's a lot of games that Team Envious like versus the other team. The game's been like super low because we know that like our goal is try not to get killed. We try to play our macro clean as
Mm-hmm.
possible, win the game without getting killed. That's kind of how we did it. So Lyra brought so many like macro plays, actually like how to play League of Legends properly, to the people. So ever since then, me and Lyra's been working together really good, like and then yeah, it was fun. Working with Lyra definitely was one of the best, experience that I have with him, and then one of the best, like, smartest League of Legends player that I work with.
So he was already smart back in like season 7 when you were playing with him.
Yes, even a lot of Korean coaches already knew that, like, Leah knows so many, like, good macro play. He's like smart players. Yeah.
All right, and then you also for one split, I think Niski was on there.
Yeah, we had a Niski, yeah, because at that time we had to look for the mid laner. So we were trying out some of the Korean players, but back then there's a team Phoenix Phoenix One. I don't know if you guys remember that team.
Yeah,
So that time they had a Pyrian as a Korean mid laner. I don't know if you guys know him, but Pyrian, you don't know him.
yeah, I remember. Period.
And after that, he went to the T1 as a sub member. I don't know, but anyways, yeah, he had a pretty bad performance at the P1, and then that time, like we talked about it, actually, like P1 offer us, do you guys need a Korean millionaire? We have periods available. So yeah, okay. At that time, we were working with the Niski, but we had a visa issue, but we need to bring someone else, at that
Mhm.
time. So, so we got the Pyrian kind of as a sub because we thought we would use Niski as soon as he come, but then Pyrian's been after Pyrian joined with the envious, like learn from the layer. He's been doing so good, like winning screen, winning the games, and then it was so funny that and then like a month later, P1 reached out to us again saying that like, oh, can we actually bring back the Pyrian again?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then but then for us, it was great timing because we weren't sure who we want to use because PM's been doing pretty good. Niski just got here, and then it's not fair to Niski, right? Like not giving him a chance. But then
Yeah.
since we got an offer from the P1, so we obviously sold Pyrian again to the P1, and then Niski started up, and then also Niski was a great players too, right? So that's kind of what happened.
How was it working with Niski? Was he still the same, like funny, happy kind of
Yeah,
person?
he's a funny dude. I remember like we went to go out eat. Like he's the first players that like eat everything with the ketchup. Like go to steakhouse, he eat anything with the ketchup. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like he loves ketchup. And then obviously he doesn't eat pork at all. And then he makes so many like jokes and stuff like that. And then I remember he told me like this, told me one day you actually gonna get mad at me because he always make fun of me, like he always play with me and stuff like that. And then one time I told him that, one day if I'm really upset, I'm gonna cook pork belly right next to your bed so you can. I don't know. It was funny, yeah. Working with this kid was really cool experience, funny, and then he was a great guy. And then obviously I knew that at that time. I mean, back then Nisko obviously Nisko was a pretty popular guy, but he wasn't like today. But
Mm.
I knew that he's gonna get big because the personality he has, I mean the work ethic, and then he likes to talk with the people and stuff. And then after that he went to the C9, and then yeah, ever since then he's also been doing pretty good. So
Yeah. And then Apollo and Hakuho and yourself, you all moved to Clutch in 2018. And this is where I feel like was like starting to be the peak of like
yeah,
really good rosters that you were on.
so Clutch Gaming obviously at that time was like all the else is even getting bigger now, become a franchise, like locked in solid esports franchise team. So
Mm.
thankfully that time we actually I was kind of doing agent part two back then because
Oh, agent.
after team members didn't make any franchise. I mean, not an official agent, but after team members didn't make any franchise, I was gathering all the players like Apollo, Haku, Lea. I mean, I couldn't really get the Niski because he was an import slot. I
Hmm.
mean, that's only after that Niski's like, dude, that's so fucked that you guys didn't invite me. But he knew that, but he knows like what had happened. But anyways, and then we got offered from the few different teams, and then obviously one of them was Clutch Gaming, and then it was pretty cool because like they explained to me like what is like Clutch Gaming, like what they can provide, and they're like Houston Rockets NBA team, you guys can watch the game, blah blah blah. Like so many like cool stuff like if they can bring with the players and the work. So we choose the Clutch Gaming, and then obviously it's a big org and a big company.
Hmm.
So I talk with the players, let's choose Clutch Gaming, and then that's why like I brought Lyra, Apollo, and Haku, and then yeah, that's kind of how I started.
Yeah. So this is like 4 years into your career after like working.
Yeah.
You said you started basically like just like being on the couch doing the dishes. Now that you're on Clutch Gaming, you're on a much bigger organization. What is the transition of your role on
I
Clutch?
mean, basically doing the same thing, but like now we have the money. Like I don't have to worry about like how much we spend. Obviously, I know how much we need to spend, but like I was able to like setting up the house and stuff like that. Whatever they told me they like 30 pieces will be coming in. Told me I want you to go to take out a look at the house. And like now I have more option that
Mm.
which house that we can choose without thinking about any budget issue and stuff like that. And blah blah blah. So I have more like more power to like kind of create the environment for the league team and stuff like that. Back in the day, it didn't really have it because like kind of like no money and then stuff like that. But now it's like actual big org. Um, it's like sponsoring our team, so we didn't really have to worry about it. So for me, it was like really easy process. They did a lot of things provided for us, and for me, it was really easy. Bring the players to yo guys, we're gonna have a new PC, we're gonna have everything new, blah blah blah. So like, yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty much the same roles, but like I have more option didn't really have to think about any budget issue and stuff like that, So yeah.
Hmm. And obviously, like right now, you're like basically part of a basketball organization. Like, how did your family, your friends, like, how did they react to sort of hitting it big and getting into franchising? I'm sure it must have
Uh,
been exciting.
so for me, it's like I didn't, I like I said in the beginning, like, I guess I never talked about it, but I moved here with my family, my mom and dad. I'm only child, but like I'm during 2006 from Korea, and then my dad passed away, and I mean everything kind of messes up, and then I was pretty much alone with my grandfather, because his grandfather kind of raised me after that. So also like I didn't really have a lot of friends because I was nothing but playing sports. Then after that, I just kind of jumped right into the like esports scene. So there's no like big reaction from any other like friends side or from friends say, oh, now you're gonna working at the basketball. No, but I didn't really have that. I
Mm.
just had with the players like, yo, like America plus NBA team. That's pretty cool. That's yeah, that's about it.
I see. And do you, at this point, after being like in esports for 11 years, have you developed like, do you have like a best friend in esports or something like that?
I mean, like I said, there's so many players that I work with, especially Korean players, American players. I should talk with them, stuff like that. That's kind of like friends,
Hmm.
go out, eat together during the off season. Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. But I don't really have like non esports players. I mean, I
I
have a
see.
few, but yeah, mostly
Yeah.
I've been working with just players. Even though, like, off season, talking with the Korean players all the time if they ever needed anything. And then, yeah, it's been like that for forever.
Yeah. So in 2018, actually, Febiven joins. I think that was a big headline. People were not sure if he was
Yeah,
going to be any good or
Febvin
not.
joined. Yeah, Febvin joined, and then it was cool when I heard his name. And Febvin's always been pretty popular in the LEC, Fnatic and all that. And then he joined, and then yeah, it was cool. It was super cool when I heard that. Yeah, and after that, when he joined, met him. He was just like a Niski dude, very funny, friendly guy. Always makes jokes around, and then that was fun time. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask because I think towards the end of his career, he became more serious. But back in the days in Fnatic, he was just like this funny, goofy guy who was just having fun while playing.
I mean, he also had a goofy time with the Clutch Gaming too. Not gonna lie, we also had a fun time, but at the same time, we always like try to bring like we're trying to win. We're not
Mhm.
here to mess around or anything like that. So we had a fun time, but we also had a serious time. But
So
yeah,
how was it beating TSM? Because I think literally nobody expected you guys to win. You lost game one. Everyone was like, okay, this is a 3-0, and then the team wins. Like, did you guys celebrate somehow? Like, what? Talk to me about that time.
yeah. Obviously, back then, TSM was one of the strongest team ever. But then, like I said, there's a reason why we brought Leah because even Leah's like had a really passion about going to the world, trying to win something.
Hmm.
He always during the review talked about like this is what we need to do as a gameplay, like macro, always macro, nothing else, just macro, clean macro. Everybody understand what it really we need to do each lane. Talk about like anything with the game related. He always bring it up, and then our scream plus actual games, the quality of the games got so much better. Everyone kind of understand it because they always bring it up during the review, right? So I think we actually everyone else got so much better with the game knowledge, to be honest, because of Blair and the coaching staff. And then after that, like we were beating pretty much almost every team in the scream, and then yeah, the miracle actually happened. Top teams we actually beating them, and then yeah, and then at the same time, back in Clutch Gaming, um, they also own Maestro Steakhouse. I don't know if you know that
No.
place, but like one of the high end steakhouse ever in California and they're all over the world.
Oh
Like
wow.
each steak's like a 200, 300 like minimum. Very expensive restaurant. And obviously, thanks to all the Houston Rocket Clutch Gaming staff and the ownership, they always bring us there and they celebrate every time we win big. So we had a pretty um like yeah, the Clutch Gaming was one of the like, team that provide us like high end like team dinner ever. So yeah.
Do you have like an interesting story or a cool story of like I'm sure that's a very big culture shock of like you go from like a team where like you said you're worried about the budget and things like that to like oh my god they're treating us each person like a $3,000 dinner.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when the first time we sat down. I mean, we usually go to Korean barbecue somewhere, something casual, nothing crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then uh, they took us to the steakhouse, and then I remember their ownership was telling me that like everybody needs to be dressed up. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is a steakhouse that required no like any shirt has to be like a casual button shirt and then long pants and ball casual outfit you need to wear, no flip flops.
Uh-huh.
And I have to tell the players like what everyone's like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Like we all have to dress up? Like I told them like, dress up as like you guys going on the first date. Nothing too crazy. Just wear pants, wear shoes. That's it. And I remember we all sat down. And then looking at the menu, we're like, what's going on? Even the French fries, well, I remember like a $25 or
Oh
something,
my
just French
god.
fries. It's hella expensive. And then we all looking at each other's, looking at the menu. And then they're like, "You just order whatever you guys want." And then, but think about it, right? If someone invites you to the expensive restaurant, you're looking at the menu, menu is hella expensive. You just cannot order everything.
Yeah.
Even though you try to order steak, it's like, holy shit. But everyone kind of looking at each other. And I remember now, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a Wagyu steak or something. And then after that was I kind of started speaking up, and then
Uh,
yeah, it was cool. And then, but the thing is, like, as an ownership, as a clutch gaming, they actually believes that like, because we were beating the top teams, they never get beat before, and then they're like really like. Appreciate hard work that we've been doing it, so they always treat us really well. It's like this. Let's say when you have a kid, you tell the kids study, and then they go on exam next day, and they're like, okay, if you pass with the A plus or A minus, I'm gonna buy an iPhone or something. And the kid's gonna work super hard and go in the exact date, and then
yeah.
yeah, it's just like that. Like you win, you get like a little extra present or something like that.
So then what happened during summer? Because spring you guys did amazing. Summer, I think you guys finished like ninth. You guys really struggled. What was going
I'm
on
not
then?
nine. I mean, we were still pretty good that time, but we kind of struggled because obviously, uh, I just cannot say too much details, but obviously players had an issue with themselves too, and then obviously a lot of stress from the coaches' sides too. Like a lot of things happened, so
I remember
we
there was
kind of
drama with
struggle.
Delim and Curry as well. Like, well, obviously, we don't have to go into it, but the coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, David Lim had a hard time with the players because he's trying his best, but then there's so much work and there's so much stress from him because you need to realize that there's a players that knows so much like game knowledge and then they try to fight you back whatever the coach is trying to say something and no, I think that's wrong, and then like, what do you mean? And then all of that has been kind of like piled up, and then David Lim couldn't really handle that, so he decided to step down, and then obviously Curry become a head coach. Obviously, Curry had a same issue as David Lim. It wasn't easy, controlling all the players, and then so we have to bring other coaches, and that's kind of how it happened. And then ever since then, our season's been like not bad, but like it was pretty rough.
Yeah. How did Clutch, the org, like the higher ups respond? Because one split, you were one game away from making it to the finals. Then the next split, you don't make it to playoffs, and then you lose in the regionals. Like going into 2019, what was like the directive from above?
I mean, we make it to the world, it was fun, we
In
were
2019,
building.
you made Worlds, but in 2018, you lost to Echo Fox in the
Yeah, we
regionals.
lost cycle, but that was like
Yeah.
one of the fastest BF best of five
Yeah.
ever. And then, but after that, we realized like there's some little bit of adjustment, for the players and the coaches side. And then we were looking for the players, and then that time when Hoodie was playing for the Immortals and the T1 and then Echo Fox, and then we had a bit of change of roster, like spent more money, right? And then we brought Hoodie, and then yeah, then that's kind of everything kind of turns around a bit. Excuse me for a second, sorry.
Take your time.
Yeah,
So how was it
I mean,
working
I don't
with
want to.
Hoodie?
I mean, before we jump into the Hoodie side, the reason why we struggle because uh, that time the Fortnite game just came out. Then everyone else kind of playing Fortnite back then, like trying new games. Obviously, I'm not saying we lost because of the Fortnite game, but like like when the esports players, like when new games kind of came out,
Yeah.
they kind of playing a little bit after Scrim. They're supposed to play, I guess, solo queue, which is they did, but like still, they will still play this an amount of time playing Fortnite games, which would lack up kind of like a focus and stuff like that. I cannot control everything. Like
Yeah.
I cannot go to the players like, yo, what are you doing? Like every hour. There's no way. But yeah,
Were they like
but
playing together, or
and
was
then
it like everyone just playing solo?
playing together, playing solo like that, yeah.
So
And then
then,
after that, we got Hoodie, and then obviously back then we also had academy players too. So we also had a Piglet, Hoodie, Lyra, the three core, the Korean people players there. And then we got the Balkan, we got the Monte. Yeah, that's like roster that we actually built it for, and then it worked out pretty damn good because each player have a pretty big name. Also back then, uh, Tanner were building a lot of brand like a Tanner time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So how was it like playing with Hooney? Was he still the same like goofy kind of? Because he had come back from T1 at this point. It felt like he kind of changed personality wise after T1. So how what was your experience
I
working with
mean,
him?
when he joined, I mean, he was polite and then obviously he was very goofy, and then at the same time, he worked out really well with the Lyra Piglet because Hoodie was the like youngest out of all the Koreans, so
Mm,
constantly asking questions, and then Hoodie's like always, this is what we need to do, which is a lot of Korean players agrees to it, and then they worked out pretty well. They all had the same kind of ideas, like what they want to do with with our style. It's trying to win the
mm.
games, and then yeah. So it was fun. We go out, went to the Vegas together. We always go out eat together. Like it was fun time with the Cooney. Yeah.
So Spring Split actually didn't go too well, and then you guys ended up bringing in Cody Sun and what what was it like working with Cody?
Yeah, we had a bit of issue with the piglet, with the visa issue, the army issue. So, long story short, we have to kind of let him go. And then we brought Cody Sean. He's one of the hardest working guy ever that I work with. He eats a lot, loves the food, and then nothing much. He's like willing to listen, take any criticism from the player side. He always takes it, like try to play better. So I have no problem with the Cody song. He was pretty cool guy that I work with, and then we actually play decent, so it was cool.
And then Vulcan was someone that you had the entire year, and like the next year they would end up pay like $1 million buyout to go to Cloud
So
Nine. Like this guy made a
so
name for himself.
Balkan played for the scouting ground back then, and then we acquired him, and then they're also a great guy. He's a rookie, but like he actually knows the games really well. Even though he was rookie back then, and then the way he plays the game, way he understands the game, he spent his most of the time playing solo queue, trying to get better, was one of the best players that I ever seen. And then after that, Obviously, everyone saw that we sold bulk into the C9 for like, over like $1 million. So yeah,
And then you also had Rigby come in the summer split. And
yeah.
how how did the players react to like playing with Rigby? Because like you mentioned, the previous year there was a lot of butting heads between the players and the coaching staff.
I mean, Rigby, obviously, the cool thing about Rigby was, even though he was from Korea, he was speaking like fluent English and stuff like that.
Mm.
And then he actually worked out really well with Lyra because they both have really very similar, very almost like common ideas how to win the game, like a strategy wise. So they worked out really well. And then obviously, um, Rigby always try to tell the players like kind of on the side, like this is what you need to focus on, and everyone actually like listen to him, and then everyone really likes him because obviously there's no like language barrier, right? Because he was
Mm.
able to like speak English perfectly. So Rigby actually brought a lot of help for the teams, especially like game knowledge and stuff like that. So it's been really good.
They also like what was the decision behind bringing so many? Like you brought in Artemis, you brought in ThinkGuard, Empire was on there at that time. Like Curry was still there. There was like it went from having like two coaches to like five in like a year.
So Empire, I mean Empire, I've never talked to him, so I don't really know about him. He was always in remote talking with the
Okay.
coaches, but like Artemis was our academy coach. Uh, yeah, just him, and then yeah, I mean, ever since then, like when we need help, everyone's kind of towards focus on the LCS team only. So that's kind of when it happened. And then after that, like I said, right after David Lim, Curry left, we have to bring someone else, and then that's how we brought Thinkar as a head coach, and the Artemis as a assistant coach, kind of like an academy coach, and then we also had a Rigby on the side, and then Empire also like he was on the remote as an analyst, you know, giving us also sources stuff like that. So yeah.
I see. And then you guys end up making it to Worlds. You reverse sweep TSM. Like, talk to me about that specific instance. Like, how did you
Yo,
guys
this is
celebrate?
crazy
How was it?
because
Yeah.
in order to make it to the world, we had to win 5 games. I think it was five. Yeah, it was 5 games. For me, it was like, holy shit, that's even though we lose one game, we're out. But we want to make it to the world. But we have to win 5 games. Not easy teams, the top teams, you know.
Yeah.
That time TSN never missed a single world. TSN were there, like FlyQuest were there, like a pretty solid team were waiting for us. But we lose, we lost. But we somehow win step by step. Win one game, okay. 4 more games. Win the second game, okay. 3 more games. We won third game. We're like, okay, shit. Like this is actually getting crazy. That time, like we spent so many hours together, like working on it, right? And then we won the fourth game, and then like when we won special versus TSN, holy shit, man. We're in the room crazy. We're like fucking like, yeah, we're yelling and like, holy shit, but yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like, back then it was Clutch Gaming plus Dignitas, right? You know,
Yeah. I think I already
because
bought
that
you
time,
guys. Yeah.
yeah. So Dig owner were there, the CEO were there. He was telling us that if you guys actually bid this all the teams, we're gonna take it to anywhere. We're gonna celebrate. So we actually did it, and then yeah, it was a crazy story. It was like a miracle run we just did, and then we won 5 games, and then we kicked out from the TSM from the world, and then everyone was shocked because TSM cannot go to the world because of the Clutch Gaming. Like, who the fuck is Clutch Gaming guys? You know, like all of that, and then also has been like really shocked how we did it and then how we perform it, and then obviously we myself too, and then we all the staff were shocked too, you know, because winning 5 games straight is not easy, you know, especially versus top teams, you know. So
Yeah.
we actually fucking did it, and then Yeah, I remember fucking. We were watching the game. We are like fucking. We all got shocked. Like we didn't know what to say. We were like jumping around, ran to the fucking on the stage, hugging everyone. And after that, like the owner, Mike, Michael took us to the Nobu Malibu, and then we spent I think $20,000 worth of food or something like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't go to the work because I had an issue with my passport, but I remember that I had to tell the owner and Andrew Barton back then was like, "Yo guys, I need to tell you something. Like, I cannot go to the world. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Tony? Stop fucking around. Like, my passport have an issue. Like, yeah." And then they were like, "What the
Oh.
fuck?" Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, that must have been really sad because I think 2019 was in Europe, right? And it was like one of the nicer years. I think they went to like Madrid, Spain. I think the finals was Paris.
yeah,
Obviously Berlin
yes.
won. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they went to the world. Obviously, they didn't play well, but still, we thought that after coming back from the world, we're gonna be doing so well. But yeah, and then obviously when we coming back, no more clutch came in. We actually became Dignitas, and then uh, yeah, we now that time we have finally have some sort of office space.
Hmm.
Now that's the time that when actually a lot of teams kind of like bring it up like an office space, type of the game facility, no more gaming house shit, it's more like everyone gets like apartment plus, you practice at the gaming facility. That's kind of how they built it. If you're looking at YouTube and the Dignitas like versus like Verizon, they were building their office for us. It was pretty cool experience. They were building huge ass office for the gaming area, bunch of room with the staff room, a content room, like a stream room. We have kitchen, like a whole massive facility provided from the Verizon plus Dignita. It was such a cool like experience for me because now we have an office that we can go there and play for 24/7. I feel like going to the world, actual work. You know what I'm talking about? So
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
So at this point, when you joined Dignitas, are you still doing the same thing, or because I think at that time when they signed you, they said you were like assistant general manager, but I'm not
That was
sure.
like a back in 2021, 2023-ish.
Oh, so that was relatively recent. So in 2020 to 2022, you're still like this mainly
Yeah, and
player
then
manager
we
kind of
we
thing.
yeah, we obviously at that time James Baker was remote. We brought James Baker as a general manager there, and then he was helping with the league team. I was working with him, and then me and James basically we work all together with the league team, and then yeah, and then after that, like a lot of Clutch Gaming staff kind of gone. I'm the only survivor over there, and then
Yeah,
working hard, that time we brought a lot of Korean players to helping with their visas, always taking care of the players, blah blah blah. And yeah, it was. I mean, I've been on the same role pretty much like over 10 years. I would say that, but for me, it's like pretty cool because I'm not type of the guy that like I want to become like go up in the higher staff. He wasn't like that. I like working close to the players, which is that's what they hired me for because I'm really good at it. Because always taking care of the players, right? It's like whatever they need something, like they'll always reach out to me, like. And at the same time, I was telling them like being a human too, clean the fucking room. We're not fucking your babysitter. This is what he needs to do. Fucking wake the fuck up. I'm not type of the guy that like fucking do everything for them. I mean, I will help them, but like, there's a limit. If a
yeah,
player asks me, I need a toothbrush. Like, what the fuck you ask me for? Go get your fucking self toothbrush. I'm not getting for you. For example, what I'm talking about? I give them a lesson a little bit. So
yeah.
yeah,
That's interesting because like you're always very, very like soft and kind whenever like we see you in public. So it's interesting that behind the doors you
yeah,
can get
something
some tough
kind,
love.
but like
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like a big older brother for them, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'll still take care of them, but like. Whenever they ask me some stupid shit, obviously there's no fucking way. Yeah.
Yeah. So you never really got to the point of like being involved in like roster development or scouting players or anything like that?
I mean, it was like that, but then back in like 2022, that's kind of where I started, like, more into the like scouting because um, I know a lot of Korean agents, Shadow and Aziz, like all the Korean agents that I work with. Always talking about it, talking with James. This is the players that we need to bring, blah blah blah, and then more involved with the players and stuff like that, the roster stuff. Yeah, and then in order to bring the Korean players, like he has to go through me, right? Because I need to always talk with the agent from Korea, uh, bring the boss, and then watch it all together, and then try to try to figure out which player will be the best for us, to bring, next year and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But the thing with Dignitas is I felt like from 2020 to like 2022, um, they tried a lot of different things, didn't succeed. I think in 2020, like spring, they had like the Huni was there, Dardoch was there, Phoenix were there, and then like, or sorry, no, that was summer. In spring, you
Yeah, I
had
mean,
Froggen,
Dig,
Johnson, Afro, Acadian.
yeah.
Yeah,
We had Johnson, Alfred McKinney, and Frog in, and then all that too. We had a lot of we also had a lot of players as passed by, and then that time we also have an academy team as well. So we always kind of bring switch up the players. We also had a Lolo too, like all the big names actually joined League, and then yeah, but obviously didn't really work out, and then obviously trying our best, but obviously, like I said, each team have a struggle with the players, kind of like bit of, players issue, and then that's kind of what happened. And then after that, like the fucking, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of team actually sponsored by the crypto company back then.
yeah.
And then the thing, COVID hit, everything kind of collapsed, so everything kind of dropped. Yeah, and then yeah, we didn't do well so much. I mean, academy team were doing pretty damn good, but then yeah, the LCS team wasn't that bad, but like we always kind of like end up being fifth or sixth. We make it the playoff, but we lose the playoff match. Stuff like that.
Yeah. In 2022, you guys brought in Blue, and everyone was very surprised. Like, why would you bring a random like mid laner when you could have brought someone from NA? I think you also brought in Gamsu and then Hoon. There are a lot of very like confusing decisions that the community never really got an answer to as far as
Yeah,
like what's going on with
obviously.
Dignitas. Yeah.
I mean, that time, obviously, James talking with the coaches and then stuff like that. And then, obviously, I didn't know anything about the blue. But then, like I said, that time I wasn't really involved with the roster that much. But
Hmm.
the blue came and then we actually talked about it and asked few players how blue were doing in the back in SK. And then there's a bit of uh, like a negative side coming from blue, but a lot of positive side. But we brought him and then it worked out pretty well. I mean, but obviously it's a budget issue too, right? We couldn't really get like someone a superstar because back then when we offered Hoodie 1.5 million, contract didn't go through because the like I said, with the COVID hit plus the crypto company and the clubs, like they cannot pay anymore, and then we have to drop Hoodie. Which means now a lot of teams kind of facing like a lot of financial issue with the late team because we cannot pay the players back in the day like a fucking 300k, 400k, 500k, 600k. That was the easy minimum back then, but we couldn't do that. So we need to bring someone that kind of solid, but like not like a superstar. That's how we actually end up bring Blue. I mean, Blue wasn't that bad, but obviously didn't go too well. But who the Lucky players? We want to try him out, and then Gamsu obviously it was pretty poor decision from our ends, but yeah.
Yeah, you ended up bringing Hoon as well. What can you tell me about Hoon? Because like obviously in game he
Yo, who
was
was
not great,
doing?
but
I mean, who? was pretty good. I mean, obviously we lost some of the games, but Hood was actually there's a spotlight for him that he was like a 1v2 at every games and stuff like that. He's kind of quiet person, but he talks a lot outside the games. But like the only problem that I have the player had with him was he wasn't talking a lot. Back in the
Mm.
days, like especially in game. So I wish he was more like vocalized, talking more. Shot call and stuff like that. He could have been much like bigger players, I believe. But obviously he was a bit struggle. But then when we put him in the academy spot, he was actually doing pretty fucking well. I mean, there's a lot of montage from the Hood, like a 1v2 playing Fiora and stuff like that. Like our academy team were actually doing so fucking great. So, but we couldn't really make it to the final. But like we always been the top three teams for sure.
I think 2023 your academy team made it to the final. I think they lost 3-1 to C9, but
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
yeah, I think this was the
But our
when Insanity was on there.
cool guys, fun guy, Insanity XU, on Diamond, Tomo, Who, Deos, working hard people. Yeah.
Yeah, so then you bring in Rich, and Rich was like
Oh
really good
yes.
at Hearthstone, but then you brought him in as a League of Legends player, and people were like, I don't know, this seems weird. Is it just because he played with, or like he worked with Bakery before? Talk to me about Rich and like what kind of personality he has.
So Rich was. I mean, we tried to get Lich back in 2019, didn't happen, but obviously he was playing for the LCK, right?
Hmm.
It wasn't like he was coming from the Heroes of Storm to the league right away. I mean, after Heroes of Storm, he played a bit in the LCK and then came to us. Back then, I don't know if you know, TL Summit was like fucking
Yeah.
dominating every single fucking top laner. And then we brought Lich with his solid top. Um, but obviously, Lich is just like a Lara because he knows about the game. Like he knows what he's talking about. His shot call, he has all. He also have a lot of energy, to speak.
Mhm.
Even if his English wasn't that good, but like I have to translate him. But like he always passionate about like this is what we need to do. Just it kind of reminds me of Leah too. Really passionate about the game. Really wants to win the game. And then obviously our result wasn't that great, but Rich, that guy, he proved himself fucking like when I remember versus TL. We all thought that Samir was one of the GOAT, best top laner. But fucking Lich fucking solo killed him like a weak game versus him. Yeah, it was cool.
You also had Santorin and Jensen that split. I know like Santorin had come from Team Liquid and like Jensen had also come from C9. Like you had like these very high pedigree players. What was it like working with them?
Rich, Santoni, and Jancy, if you're looking at their names, holy shit, a pretty good roster, right? Like,
Yeah.
Jancy came from Jancy and Santori, they both won so many titles, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, that time I realized that it doesn't matter if they have big names or not. Sometimes when you bring all the superstars all together, it works out, that's fucking great, But I mean, for me, it's like 50-50. Either it works out, it doesn't work out. For us, it wasn't worked out for us. So yeah, kind of obviously we fell, and then huge fell, and then yeah, and obviously after that, um, Santori wants to retire, and then Jensen wants to go to a different team, and then he went to FlyQuest, and then yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think also in spring, I kind of forgot about this just because he's so forgettable. But you brought in Armut. If you remember, like
Yeah,
Mad
yeah,
Lions,
yeah,
yeah. Well, like I
yeah.
mean, everyone knew that that was like a really bad decision, but you still brought him. I think you went like 2-13 that split. It was like really bad for him. What can you tell me about like just signing Armut?
I mean, for me, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I like Armin a lot. He's also from the Turkish, and then very friendly guy, funny guy, goofy guy. But as a players as a org didn't work out too well, And then he's trying his best, but like, yeah, the result was really bad, and then we had to kind of let him go. But for me, it's the game wise, inside the game, we didn't have a great time with him. But outside the game, we had fun with him. So we're still friends, and then, yeah, and then that time we had to try so many things. It's like a gambling. It can be turnaround pretty good, it can be turnaround shit, but most of turnaround is fucking shit.
Yeah. So that's
I'm not
actually something
saying
I
it's
wanted to
not.
get. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's a bad player or anything like that, but it wasn't really fit for everyone's together, because the League of Legends is a 5 games, 5 players game. But yeah,
Yeah, this is one thing that like it feels like Dignitas try a lot of different things over the past like 5 years, right? They tried a lot of different rosters. 2024, they tried two
yeah,
different rosters. 2025, they tried a bunch of rosters. Like they made changes. The question was always like, why did Dignitas never try to like develop like rookies? They always try to bring in these like big names. Like in 2024, you brought in Dove and Rich, right? And then like you every time you bring in rookies, you just kind of fire them. Surdy, XU, Tomo, like it feels like you never really gave them a chance to develop, but at the same time, you never gave the like it felt like you never really did one or the other. You didn't develop rookies, but you also didn't stick with like a superstar roster. So maybe what can you tell me about just like the
yeah.
methodology of signing players?
So for me, that back then, obviously, we all thought that like we also hear from the feedback from the players that like they've been doing really bad, and then obviously, we were supposed to give them a chance, but we couldn't do it because we believe that spending their time, I think, is not really worth it. I think instead of that, bringing the new players might be working out pretty well. But then I realized, especially this year, that winning rookies was one of the best ideas because bring name players doesn't mean shit, to be honest. You bring the players
Yeah.
from from LCK, LC doesn't fucking matter. XU, like Insanity, all the players been sticking around. For me, is that I actually want to bring them back this year, like next year, for example,
Uh-huh.
but because I realized that, like, what's the point of fucking bringing the import players? Like, if they have names, like, doesn't fucking mean shit. I mean, we should bring like NA talents and give them a chance. And then I truly believe that actually it's gonna work out. But back then, in my head, I'm like, nah, we should spend more money and then bring like a more like a superstar player. I think makes sense, but that was stupid ideas. I mean, sometimes it works for sure, but like if you have a barely minimum amount of money trying to bring the like random fucking LCK players, it doesn't make any sense. But back then we wanted to try, we wanted to see what they can do, kind of roll the dice, if things are gonna work out or well. But most of the time they didn't work out. And then when we failed this year, especially 2025, I realized that like, oh shit, you know what? Actually, XU, and then all of the players that I work with, especially rookie players, we should stick with them. Give them a chance, give them like more time to you know, get better at. But our our decision always like, you know what? Sorry, we have to let you go, bye bye bye, and bring the other players, and then doing fucking shit and getting all the negative comments. Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that as well. Like, how much did these like negative comments and like community like it Dignitas used to be seen as like a middle tier team, and then in the past 2 years, it seemed like a bottom tier
yeah,
team. Even though you guys are trying,
yeah.
right? It's not like you guys aren't. How much did that like affect make it difficult getting players, like environment as well?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't difficult getting players. I mean, obviously, people's gonna talk shit no matter fucking what we do. So it wasn't affecting us anything like that. So me and James, we both didn't care. But also at the same time, even though we get a bunch of negative comments on the whatever we post on social media, like it doesn't affect any single problem bring the players or anything like that. I mean, it sucks. Fucking people look down on us, like saying a bunch of negative shit, which is some of them is true, which is I get it, but some of them is kind of bullshitting, so which is we kind of ignored it, but yeah, we didn't really care. But like I said, right, after working with all years, and then like finally realized that, especially this year, and end of the year, like fuck, you know. Like when I build a roster for next year, I want to bring some of the rookie players and stuff like that. But then obviously it didn't happen. So
Were you involved at all in the 2026 roster, or did you leave before that?
I mean, can't really tell too much. But after we failed, huge fails this year, and obviously we talked with a lot with James. I mean, I made a huge PowerPoint, the potential roster for next year. Already talked with the Korean agents already on the roster that I have in my mind for next year.
Uh huh.
But obviously, yeah, I can really tell. But yeah.
Yeah, they did decide to try to make NRG again.
Yeah,
But
kind of.
yeah. Um, Before that, I actually want to ask, like, was there ever pressure from up top of like, hey, you have to make changes or you have to give us results? Because you guys didn't just change like rosters every year, you were changing every split, right? Like 2023, you changed, you brought in like Ignar, or you got rid of Ignar, you got
Yeah.
rid of Armu. 2024, you got rid of XU Tomo, you got rid of Dove and Rich. Like every split, it seemed like it was happening. And we were wondering, is this like up above? They're like, oh, you have to get results now? Or was it something like
No, no.
just you and James?
I don't think James will get a lot of pressure from the upper management, but obviously there's some pressure from the upper management. We need to decide to do something else, and then, but at the same time, we have to play. If we didn't want to play, if we didn't want to stick it together, and then the most of the players kind of like, you know what, they didn't really want to play, stuff like that.
Mhm.
So kind of let it go, but. I think James is the one actually talking with a lot of upper
Mhm.
management, which is I don't know, but I think he was getting like pressure, some pressure for sure, and at the same time we got to change something new, so that's kind of we did it, but then obviously it didn't really work out, and then especially this year, obviously, they brought new management and then coaching and stuff like that, which is I don't know. I haven't followed esports for a while now, but yeah, I mean, whatever they do, hopefully nothing but best luck for them. So,
I actually want to talk about the last project that you guys did, which was you brought in Rigby, you brought in Lyra as coaches, you brought in rookies, you brought in Shaden and Surdy. You kept Isles. I think you had Tomo and Kaney. Like this was a young roster with like a really smart coaching staff, and we felt like, okay, maybe this can work. Maybe Dignitas are finally doing it. They have a full rebuild year. Talk to me about like developing that project over the offseason. And how did you get them? Like I'm surprised Rigby actually agreed to like join.
I mean, that time Rigby, his army was about to end it, and then Leah was actually looking for the teams. For me, it was a bit tough getting both of them because salary-wise, whatever, the tape, but somehow we were able to get it. I'll handle them, and then we got all the roster and stuff like that, and then, like you said, rookie roster, fresh new start. I thought we were gonna be doing good, but then, yeah, it's a long story short, but there's a lot of going on with the players and the coaches, and then didn't really work out, and then we kind of fucking failed this year. That's kind of what it happened. I can't really tell too much details about it, but like. Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
Sodi had a hard time, and then Sodi tried to learn his game, but then he had a hard time with the players and the coaches, like overall, and then yeah. And after that, obviously, the environment goes bad, and then it wasn't easy to fix it. So kind of went a disaster, but then we're trying to put it back together, but then yeah, it didn't work out. So
Yeah, I know maybe you can't say too much, but I can at least say some of the things that are more public. Like Surdy said, like the environment felt really negative at that time when he was playing,
yeah, yeah.
and then Kaney said, "I don't know about that. I think maybe it was just him." Like there was clearly a little bit of frustration between some of the players and the coaching staff. And then at the
I
end of
mean,
the, oh, sorry,
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
at the end of the year, like talking to the coaching staff and the players, like Isles, it felt like you were saying, the environment never got any better. You tried to make it better. Like Photon came in and like he felt bad for Photon because like he's a good player, but he couldn't show it because the environment was just really, really bad. Is what he felt.
Yeah, I mean, everyone have different opinions about themselves, right? I mean, 30 uh, thought that this environment is really shit, but Katie also thought that I don't think environment wasn't that shit. I think it was just more like a 30 issue. I think, which is I agree. I think everyone can say whatever they want to say when we especially fail. But for me, one thing I can say that like environment wasn't that good, because we always have to like instead of review, we kind of going over like a lot of mistakes, kind of like why are you doing this, kind of like that, kind of.
Mm.
So obviously we try to fix that, but then it was already much like far ahead, and then but this time we didn't give up. Trying our best, trying to bring
Hmm.
team together, but then yeah, it seems like it's already a bit too late, and then yeah, kind of what happened. Yeah, I mean, it could be turning out pretty damn good. Like you said, rookie roster, strong coaches, special like smart coaches. But then, yeah, one thing I can say that like it doesn't matter. You bring all the five smart rookie coaches, whatever. But when players, coaches doesn't get along with each other, it's not gonna ever work out. I'm telling you, and it's hard to bring people like all same pages together,
Hmm.
But
Did you guys ever
listen,
work with a sports psychologist or like a performance coach, something like a Demonte or like mind body wellness?
no, not really. I mean, we spend most of like we spend like a majority time like after scream time to talk about what went wrong and stuff like that. Try to have like some positive mindset, like walk together, stuff like that. But then, um, that time was kind of went pretty well. But then when game goes especially bad again, thing goes again. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
I said, we all talk. Okay, my fault, my fault. I won't do it again. Blah blah blah. Okay, let's go next game. Next day, if game goes bad again, everyone's kind of fucking like quiet mode again. You know what I'm talking about? And
Yeah.
then what am I supposed to fucking do? Let's go fucking talk again. It's not gonna work out.
It sounds like it was a vicious cycle. Like every time something good would happen, like the cycle would just keep repeating, no matter the roster, no matter the
Yeah,
coaches. It was like a
yeah,
hard cycle to get
yeah,
out of.
yeah.
I guess so. You guys never really tried to bring in someone that could like specifically tackle like environment or like that specific cycle. That was never something you guys did.
Not really. I mean, I always try to talk with the players. We did a lot of one-on-ones. We did a lot of content together. We did a lot of talk. I was actually trying my best, try to fix the issue, but then, yeah,
It gets out of hand. Yeah.
just, yeah, it's like everyone's fault, in my opinion. It's not just one player, one coach, one manager. I feel like it's overall everyone's fault, and then just didn't work out together, and then, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what happened. I mean, like I said, I'm sorry that I can't really tell too much details, but like, it just everyone's fault in my opinion, and then didn't work out, and then we fell, and then that's kind of what happened. It's not like we didn't try, um, we didn't we didn't put any effort or anything like that. We did try, we did put effort into it, but um, game goes, didn't work out. Okay, it's fine. Let's go to the fisherman. We can do this, but we fail. And then it happens so many games, so many like screams in a official match, losing every single games. Bad environment, bad mood. Yeah, it was just bit bad, and then yeah, that's kind of what happened. So yeah,
Yeah, that seems
it
very
is what it
different from
is.
like the clutch era to like the dig era. It seems like the
Yeah, it's
environment
very
is very
different,
different.
very different. Now, especially this year was for me one of the not like I wasn't getting a lot of stress, but I was getting kind of like really sad because like you said, right? If you're looking at the roster name, like rookie roster, we can do this, you know. Like it's not like a bad roster, you know. We can actually build it, you know. Actually teach them what they need to do because Ricky won title too. Lear's been fucking analyzing the else kid that he knows. Like I said, he knows the game, but it was yeah, he couldn't really. We couldn't be on the same pages at all. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The other
and
thing that
then
you guys, oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, that's kind of what it happened, and then yeah, like you say, it's kind of circles around like a fucking hamster shit, you know. One time we were doing good, but then fucking doing circle shit every single day, and then yeah,
The other
it
thing
was
that you guys
tough
had
here
to
for me
do,
too. Yeah, yeah,
and the other things that you guys had to do was content. You guys signed Silvix, and like you were constantly doing like these videos and stuff. How did
yeah.
the players like respond to that, especially with like this whole environment?
I mean, I told the players like this, right? I mean, we all get paid to do our job fucking every single daily. We have to do this content. Doing the content, I mean, it's not like we weren't like friends at all. We still talk, we still eat together, we're still like making jokes and stuff like that. We play board games together, we were fun, but just fucking shit didn't work out really well during the scrim and during the match. But other than that, doing the content all together, going outside all together, go eat together, it's worked out pretty well. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I don't want to go because this player, I don't want to go this fucking coach. It wasn't like that at all. Everyone still show up on time. We get we get it done, and then yeah, never had an issue with the content and stuff like that.
Now, how was it working with Silvix? Like I know a lot, the league community seems to love him, and like he's like very high quality. So how was it working with them?
I'm a Silbeck production is a young talent guy. You know, he's a great fucking guys, and then work hard, show up on time, prepare everything. Didn't have a single issue. I think those guys actually have a bright future. Not gonna lie. So I'm actually excited what they're actually gonna bring for next year for the dig, and then yeah, never had an issue with them. And then like I said, they're young, kind of looky, kind of projection team, and then but I feel like they're gonna do well, do so well in the future for sure.
Yeah, I think they're also like they make all the videos for the Phoenix Suns. If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, I think they do a lot of freelance stuff, like helping others, like stuff like that.
they do
I
NBA
think they
teams too.
hire,
Yeah.
yeah, they hire a lot of young looky guys, and then shout out to Jason, and then he's fucking young guy, but always passionate about the work ethic he does, and then he does a really great job with that.
Yeah, I did pass over one specific roster because I wanted to save them to the end because this was like the
Uh
big like hurrah, the big push for Dignitas, which was the 2024 summer roster, was Sven, Jensen,
Oh yeah, licorice
Spica,
speaker.
Licorice. Yeah, like obviously now we know like Licorice maybe wasn't as friendly with the rest of the team, but just like talk to me about that specific split because there was a lot of hope. It was like it's Dig time, you know,
Yeah.
everyone was very excited for this Dig roster.
One thing I know for sure that when we recruited all the players, we had so many fans, you know, because everyone's from the big names, the big
Uh,
org, won so many titles. But like I said, right, this is the reason why I said this. Bringing all the superstar all together doesn't mean that they're gonna do well. And at that time, we had a Mary as a head coach, Treat as assistant coach. There's a bit of issue with the players versus coaches too. Not gonna lie, but then, like I said, they all hang out together and then playing board game and blah blah blah. But then, yeah, when game goes, obviously everyone couldn't be on the same pages at all. That's pretty much it. They get along each other. They know who they are. I mean, world champions, they're great at it. they all played before it's all together, but when they try to be in the same team, playing same game, same I don't know like what's on their head, but we if we come out the A plan, I mean everybody know what the A plan is, but all five try to play A plan, didn't go too well. We
Mm.
always kind of fail, and then obviously reviewing and blah 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 coaches also had a stressful time, and yeah, I mean it wasn't that bad season, but obviously we should have completed a lot more with that roster, but we couldn't do that. But the thing is, we did create a lot of cool content, and then with a lot of fans, and yeah, that's kind of what happened, you know. It was a cool experience working with this strong names players, but yeah, didn't really work out.
Yeah,
And
what was it like
then
playing with Sven or like working with Sven? Because he's like a very outgoing personality, and he's also European, which is a
oh,
little different.
Savannah, I mean, Savannah actually knows what he's talking about. I mean, he's been on pros for so many years and won titles, so I think he knows what he's talking about, and he's not like a fucking quiet guy. When something doesn't go around, he will actually speak it up. It doesn't matter he close with anyone, he will actually fucking say shit to their face like, "This is wrong. We should do this." Blah blah blah. Working with him was pretty cool, you know. It was a bit of a hard time because obviously he was coming from the C9. I mean, C9 had a lot of structure for him, provide a lot of things for him, but I couldn't really do that for him and stuff. It was a bit of stress time that I had with him, but overall, I think as a players, when I see him, he spent a lot of time on solo queue, watching a lot of boss. He goes to the gym, works out, and then yeah, everything worked out for him. And then obviously, uh, when kind of goes to the team game, and then yeah, we kind of fail. Yeah.
I guess now we've been through like a lot of the dig rosters. I guess what was like your favorite dig roster that you were part of, that you worked with?
Uh, Probably the clutch game roster. It was such a fun time. I mean, clutch plus dig roster, which is when we had a Hooney, Lyra, Demonte, Cody Stone, Vulcan plus Piglet. That roster was fun. I still remember that, and then I'll never forget the moments. Every time we wake up, we walk together, have fun, grab coffee together, starts our day. Like that year, I could never forget about it. I mean, there's so many players that I work with. I really like them, but
Mm.
that roster, the moments, the smell of the fucking street, the smells of like everything. I remember that. It's like fuck, never forget. It was such a cool experience. I wish I could go back that time and just start all over again.
Do you have a favorite
You know,
moment from that clutch roster?
I mean, it wasn't like winning the game. It was more like wake up. I prepared the meal for the guys. I was cooking for the guys too. You know, we all eat together with the hot soup, with the fucking nice fresh meal. We eat. We walk together to the office, like a 10 minutes walk. Talk, kind of jokes around, and then grab coffee, like a casual, normal day, like a people, you know, starting there, right? All goes to the work together, talk about like a not game related, um, just funny shit, you know, and then after that, like during the lunch, we go outside in the park, playing soccer a bit, like you know, playing together, eat together, walk together. Yeah, it was pretty cool experience. Good memories that I have. Yeah.
Do you have any like favorite players that you've worked with?
I mean, I wouldn't really choose one or two, three favorite players, but if I can say probably Lyra.
Lyra, okay.
I think Lyra's and I, um, we used to be the players, manager, coach, manager. It's not like that. We're actually friends, and then like we'll still talk. We'll know each other forever, and then yeah. probably Lea. The guy knows my situation. He respects me. Um, I respect him too, and then we help each other. And then, yeah, he's one of the greatest players, coaches, person I ever met. Not saying he's the only one, but like
Yeah.
there's tons of players that I work with. But if I could choose one, probably Lea. Yeah.
All right. I guess at the end here, you mentioned on Twitter that you were looking for a new team, and then I think towards the end you said, maybe I might just take a break or not work in esports anymore. So do you have maybe like an update on like?
So I'll be honest with you that when I hear the news that I won't be working for Dig, think about it. You working for the one industry for over 10 years, so you kind of like let it go. I think 2 or 3 weeks I was kind of like lost my mind. Like I wasn't sure what I wanted to do because I was getting super depressed. Because I never ever wrote in my Twitter that I'm looking for a team in my career ever. Because I always start from the beginning till the end. But obviously I'm getting old. Obviously we failed this year. I mean, they told me that it's not my fault, but I don't really believe that. I think part of it is my fault as well. So I was super depressed, and then I was talking to James. I'm gonna wait till like around November, and I'm gonna post this on Twitter that I'm gonna look for a job and stuff like that. I was actually at one point I'm gonna make myself like kind of videos that kind of how am I feeling, but I feel like that was kind of too emotional, so I didn't really do that. That's why like when you offered me the interview, I was really appreciating. So, but I was really depressed, sad, didn't know what to do, and then. At the end, I need to wait to survive, to make money and stuff like that. So I got a part-time job that I'm working with right now, but they kind of gave me an offer, which is I appreciate the dig, because they still care about me and stuff, even though I don't work with the esports, but I don't know if you know, but do you remember that like, with some of the players interview when we had the LCS studio, like the cooking that I've been doing it? I don't know
Uh-huh.
if you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've been cooking for the dig team this year. Kenny always kind of shout out, Toby's the best cook, blah blah blah. I wouldn't say that, but like I was trying my best, try to feed the players. But I'm gonna be working dig roster, the league team for the chef next year. I was pretty good amount of money and then not bad at all. But I was talking to James like, I wish nothing but best luck for the dig roster. They're still gonna have a Korean roster, right? Some of the Korean roster that I work with. And then obviously, um, a player that I work with is gonna work there, so I'm gonna cook for them. And then if I mean, my point is I want them to be good, But
Uh-huh.
if somehow if they ever need me for anything, because it's long story short, but I did a lot of for the players. Like I'm doing a lot for the teams, I did. So if I feel like if they ever need me, they'll probably try to back on me on the foot again. I don't know if it's true or not, but right now in my hand, I'm just like, you know what? I got a job offer as a chef, which is fucking great. I like cooking anyways. So I'll be pretty much doing that. And then I try to reach out to a few team, but each team always have their main managers. So it
Mm.
was kind of hard for me to kind of put in the back. Or like, and then at the same time, it's not the team that back in 2018, 19, right? Team doesn't really spend money on anything else. They just wanna, they have a certain budget. They want to stick around with that. They don't want to extra spend budget on anything else. Because right now, obviously, LC has kind of gone down a lot way back in the days. If you compare to it. So, but I appreciate the offer. So I'm probably gonna take that offer for sure. So unless some team reach out to me, but if a team reach out to me for as a management spot, I'm willing to work for the team for sure. For next year, if it's happening. If not, then probably working at the shop, and then who knows? Then I might be gone from esports forever. So right now, I'm just taking a break for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's gonna happen. It sucks for sure. It's like you've been doing this for over 10 years, 11 years, and then all of a sudden you kind of lost your job. But it is what it is. I'm not. blaming on anyone else. Uh, there's no need to argue about it. There's no need to fight back about it. I respect the decision from the dig management, and then uh, yeah, quit complaining. Just find a way to survive. That's kind of have a mindset. I'm not fucking 20s anymore. I'm not a kid. I have a place to stay. I drove a car. I can go anywhere. It's not like fucking I'm being lazy ass, not doing anything, complain about it. I find a part-time job I work with, making extra bucks. There's a way to survive anyway. Sports not the only answer. I mean, yeah, I've been doing it for like I say, 11 years. It sucks, but it is what it is. You have to go from there.
Yeah, I think that
Maybe this is the chance. Yeah, that's my conclusion. And then it was fun journey for sure. I don't know if this is gonna be ended or not, my Swiss career, but funny is there's so many staff that I work with, Riot staff. Um, I'm going to miss going to Riot though, but it was fun here. I mean, yeah, it's fun here for sure. It sucks that I couldn't really hold a trophy, but yeah, I don't think this is the end. So we'll see. Yeah.
I think throughout the time that you've been in the LCS, like I said, most of the players that I've ever talked to have only had good things to say about you. Have only like talked about
Yeah,
how you do a lot for them, and I think that that's something that's very difficult to come out from, especially Dig the past few years. You only hear bad things, and the only good thing you hear about is Toby. So I think that shows how important you were to those players, especially during the times that they were on those teams.
yeah, that's why I really appreciate how a lot of players actually thought of me as a good manager. I'm not saying everyone. Obviously, there's a um. I'm not saying I'm 100% perfect. Obviously, no one's perfect, but there's a lot of things that make mistakes too. But majority of people that like I can shout out my name for I've been doing great. I really appreciate that. So, but yeah, I remember earlier this year, I was walking past by Travis. I remember Travis said that I think Toby and I were like the longest fucking esports, staff ever. Like I've seen him in for a while, so like I appreciate that. When they said that, oh shit, yeah, it's time fucking flies. It's gonna be 2026 next year. I joined when I was 2014, so. But yeah, I mean that's all I have, and then yeah, it sucks, but gotta move on. What else I can do? Gotta move on, stay positive mindset, and then yeah, we'll see what's happening. I mean, who knows, man? Next year, be on a different team or be back in the dig. Be with you, different players. I don't know. It could happen anytime. So
Yeah, the door is still open, is what you're saying.
yeah.
All right. Well, at the end of the interview here, do you have anything you want to say, like a shout out to a specific player or something you want to talk about that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
A shout out to you. I mean, thanks for offering me the interview. I really appreciate that. I know you're working hard with your, industry. I know you're gonna be doing so well. And then shout out to everyone, that I work with. Shout out to all the staff, everyone. But yeah, nothing but stay healthy, go to the fucking gym, everyone, and then that's it.
All right. Thank you so much.
And happy holidays for everyone. Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Happy
Appreciate it,
holidays.
man.
Thank you so much to Toby for agreeing to do this interview, for sharing all of his thoughts. I know it's very difficult to talk about Dignitas, especially when you're still technically working as a chef on Dignitas. It's just a weird dynamic, but I think he did a pretty good job at like stating the facts that things were happening and why things were happening, and like the vicious cycle of like the environment was just really bad there, like at all times. Ow! I bit my tongue. God, ugh, too much talking. Too much talking. Um, yeah, and just sharing like his frustrations with, and also like the good days. Like I think we went through his entire career. There are players that I could have asked him about and whatnot, but I didn't want to take too much time because like the guy has been in esports for 11 years, and it's not. There isn't a lack of other players I could have asked him about. I could ask him about Smoothie. That's what I wanted to ask about Photon recently. But just in general, like being a general manager really depends on where you are, right? And some teams you're doing some things, and other teams you're like Pyrex, Toby. You're cooking food for the players, and it it's a career that he's made for himself. Love him or hate him, he was always a very lovable guy, and hopefully this isn't the end of his story.